What's up, everybody? This is Ripples in Wales, back for another video. I hope you're doing well and having a great day wherever you're in the world and whatever you're doing. Tuesday, 21st of October, 9 a.m. Welcome back to the show. So we're going to focus on some news today. Some more stuff keeps breaking out on the Ripple front and various pieces of the chess puzzle coming together, I feel. Again, we can't really see where this is all going yet, but I've certainly had a strong inclination that there will be big moves, at least, and I didn't know what they would be, but we're starting to see them come out in the wild. Let's just crack on. And if you haven't met me before, you can follow me on X. I'm here because this will be posted on YouTube today. It's at Ripples in Wales. I'm really busy on here, usually covering most XRP, XRPL news, and also crypto news as well. All right, cool. First thing, we covered this a couple of days ago, which was the Ripple post to do with GT Treasury. Proud to announce Ripple is acquiring GT Treasury Management, and we talked about how big that was. It's a massive move. That there's a 40-year-old treasury company that has about 1,000 different inroads to different companies, I believe, and can settle into the trillions, multiple trillions, I believe. I believe the number was 120 trillion. Okay, and we saw the official post from G Treasury, sorry. We're thrilled to announce Ripple has agreed to acquire G Treasury. Together we'll deliver corporate finance was been waiting for. Now, this is really interesting because, again, the keyword corporate finance, we always told back in the day the Ripple was never a consumer retail facing product, was it? It was designed for the back end for big finance. So you've got all the crypto bros, and I sometimes put myself, I guess, into that category, when we're using memes and all the kind of more on-chain retail-facing usage on the decks of XRPL. But really, Ripple's job is to create these unbelievable strategies for large world finance, and this is the classic example. It's going to have 24/7 liquidity optimization, instant cross-border payments, one unified platform. Okay, you can hear all the buzzwords there: liquidity, cross-border, unified. We've heard these for years, haven't we? And I've got a clip by DAI posted here. This is great. I think I can't give a shout out to where this account came from, but we'll just play it anyway.
Some more like how do you get more out of payments as a whole? I want to see more. I think. Beg
your pardon. This is GT Treasury Senior Product Manager Joe Suisenka, and DAI. Sorry, put here. Maybe he's the guy that will flip the proverbial switch. Recorded before the Ripple acquisition announcement. Pretty obvious where this is going. Lock in. Sorry, big shout out to that's who it is. The Senior Product Manager at G Treasury.
We've seen the slower adoption here. Around more real-time payment methods. I'm expecting it to tick up. We're seeing more and more limits raised for what can be sent. We're seeing improved security on that as a whole. But around more real-time payment methods and also blockchain payments as a whole. I'm not going to say crypto yet. I'm going to say blockchain. We are seeing some bank-specific offerings around intercompany settlement and being able to move those funds, tie it to kind of an intercompany netting even for how those can be done. With blockchain, that'll be a lot less cost, a lot faster payment as a whole. If we're looking at these, we're talking about 24/7, 365 available payment rails that have a really nice audit, like kind of that immediate, I've sent it, I now know it's complete and I know it's done, irrevocable type payment.
Instant settlement.
That's tied to these APIs. So if you are dealing with more time-sensitive payments, I was talking to someone just the other day of they're trying to I need to send this wire and I need to...
So in the kind of context of what he was saying there was that he is being the senior product manager at G Treasury. He can see in the future that blockchain payments, he didn't say, I can't say the word crypto, but I'm going to say blockchain settlement payments become the kind of more integral part of our business flow. And obviously this was before the acquisition. So you can see how Ripple now is eyeing up these architectural moves of old world finance that process enormous volumes of through flow in the finance sector. They're very new to me. I'm not aware of them. I didn't know they existed, but it's fascinating to learn with you along the journey. And now you can see that what he's saying is the new rails. These are key words that you need to listen out for. These new rails consisted, plugging in with APIs, which is, getting access to Ripple's through flows, which eventually will be the XRPL through flows, in my humble opinion. We don't know, we'll find out. They can offer real-time settlement, instantaneous payments. So this is unbelievable. It's so clever how this is being done. And of course, what we're seeing around is a workaround. And I want to kind of bring up an image. Have I got it here? I haven't. I have to go back into my archives while you're live on screen. I'm sorry. I haven't. I've kind of just jumped on this morning because I really wanted to just get some news out to you all, because I skipped yesterday, having a bit of this was the workaround. All right. Now, I hope I'm not going to get into any trouble for saying this. So I have to keep my words kind of succinct because we're on YouTube here. But you can see the workaround. So if you look at the middle square, the DS, okay, and you can, if you notice, there's a pattern, like you see a kind of workaround. We've got the bad guys on the right, and we've got the kind of good guys on the left. All right, that's how I want to kind of premise it. All right, and then you've got a workaround where you've got a finance sector working around it, and even it seems the bad guys are trying to route the monetary networks around the middle catastrophe that exists. And you can see there's SWIFT straight in the middle of those central banking kind of squares. Yeah, each the central banks are the formative control center, the nervous system of this old monetary order that is trapped billions of people in it. And so we're moving away from that. So when he talks about the new rails, we're talking about a new system built around something. Yeah. So this is what we're working around, and Bitcoin will be part of it, and XRP will be part of it. I always love this part here, that these kind of religious entities, I'm going to just hover my mouse, have got a love heart next to the Bitcoin symbol, right? I hope you can kind of understand the interesting component of that. Very, very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Deep stuff there. But I could keep on going analysing this picture for years. Anyway, let's get back to the news ripples. All right, so that's the very interesting G Treasury Capital. Again, another post I found on that Ripple just dropped a 1 billion move into corporate treasury. It's just acquiring G Treasury. This 40-year-old treasury management leader, trusted by 1,000+ global enterprises. The deal gives Ripple instant access to the multi-trillion-dollar corporate treasury market and seat at the table with Fortune 500 CFOs. It's unbelievable. It's a really big thing, that. Okay, we've covered most of that. So, what's the news today? Brad Garlinghouse, Ashish and team are building something special with Evernorth XRP. We are proud to partner with him. I'm proud to join an incredible set of investors, including SBI Holdings, Pantera Capital, Kraken, GSR, Rippleworks, to support Evernorth. Interesting word, Evernorth, and its participants in institutional lending, liquidity provision, and DeFi yield opportunities for XRP. Worth a read below. Anyway, we've got another post, and this is by Ashish, who was, if you were around back in 2018-17, Ashish was a former top-end manager, I want to say. I forgot what his position was in Ripple, but he was on the Ripple team at top end of things. He worked alongside Monica Long. They started together, I believe, and now he's on the board of Ripple. But he's also started this. I'm proud to share that we've launched Evernorth XRP, the first of its kind institutional vehicle built to accelerate XRP adoption. With over a decade of uptime and rapidly growing DeFi ecosystem, XRP is well positioned for adoption, and Evernorth is built to meet that moment. So this is the company, Evernorth, very, very interesting. And so you've got, XRP represents a rare opportunity for one of the few digital assets with clear US regulatory standing, deep liquidity, and a proven rule empowering global payments. Wow. Good work, Ashish. Crypto Aries right at the front end of all this. She's connected to these guys. Anyway, Chris Larson, congrats Ashko Blue, which is Ashish Burla, and the Evernorth XRP team on today's launch. Evernorth fills the missing link today in XRP capital markets and XRP usage in DeFi products. Very interesting. I'm proud to invest 50 million XRP in the firm. You may see some wallet movement to this. Again, I'm going to show you something quite fun there. So there was a wallet tracker. 50 million XRP transferred from Chris Larson's to unknown wallet, and it was just so happened to be 123 milli. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm going to give you some hints there. Okay, we'll leave that there. Okay, Joel Katz, XRP community. I promised I have an update on my next adventure soon, right? Well, here's the start. I'll be strategic advisor to Evernorth XRP, helmed by my friend Ashko Blue. Evernorth was founded as a regulated, scalable investment vehicle to tap into opportunities for XRP and DeFi capital markets, extending the entire XRP ecosystem. That's the key thing, the XRP ecosystem. Now, I just want to go back to the Ashko Blue post here, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, there was Vet was super excited about this. We should probably look at Vet's page, actually, because I've never seen Vet so excited about a post to do with the XRP ecosystem. And again, this Evernorth is an ecosystem move. He did a kind of good breakdown, and I'm not going to get all this posted out here. But after digesting the Evernorth news, let's break down what we can expect on the XRP ledger and what it means for us. First, the Evernorth wants to take an active role in growing XRP by utilizing the XRPL, very different from ETFs. So they're growing the XRPL ledger. That is huge. Okay, so very neat as XLS 65 and 66 bring vaults and lending protocol onto the XRP ledger natively. Okay, these are amendments that are either gone live. I'm not sure if they're in waiting to go live. I'll have to check. I think they actually have gone live onto the XRP ledger natively. Evernorth can borrow against the $1 billion they've raised to earn yield for their fund. So that basically the yield can pay for the build out, if I've understood this correctly. So usage of compliance tools. We passed the amendments for decentralized identity, credentials, and soon permission domains and DEX. They can be combined with a lending protocol in number 1, institutional lending. Important as Evernorth is a regulated SPAC entity. Well, do you remember a few days ago we had that news breaking by Bloomberg, was that Ripple was kind of courting a £1 billion investment in XRP? Well, this what it is. But it's Ripple was involved with companies like Pantera Capital and so on and so forth in this. So again, we won't go through all of this, but liquidity provisioning, automated market makers and limit orders are combined on the XRPL DEX. Evernorth can strategically provide liquidity pools of issued assets like USD generally yield. So, okay, DeFi yield opportunities, validator participation, DeFi integration, market development. We'll go into this in another video, but ultimately what he's trying to paint a picture here is that they are doing this strategic fund to earn yield through DeFi, but I believe to ultimately contribute greatly to the decentralization, the growth of the Validator network, and the XRPL ecosystem as a whole. And you've got all the bigwigs, David, Ashish, Larson, Ripple themselves, involved in the strategic fund to grow the XRPL. Now, this is huge. This is absolutely huge. Anyway, moving on. We've seen what David Schwartz said recently on that, so let's move on from that. But there's a great question here by Crypto Insight UK. I have one guess of a kind of skeptical question in my mind about Evernorth. And again, this is a good question. Can I ask Brad Garlinghouse or Joel Katz a better person to answer about the CTO stepping down at Ripple for the reason Evernorth creation, because Ripple plan to pivot potentially away from the XRP or the XRPL? I ask this not because he's negative on it, but for confirmation, nothing more, nothing less. And you've got this guy here, Luke Judges, who's a global partnership for Ripple, tweets my own opinion. So he's obviously involved heavily in Ripple, and he says, comms will kill me for answering this, but the answer is a well and truly no. But also Vet chipped in. In fact, comms had zero problem replying and were happy to put what I put across. Vet, I see it as complementary. Ripple can go and build infrastructure for institutions, while Evernorth can do the part of bootstrapping the XRPL for DeFi. Well, this is what we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for big people to step in to bootstrap the XRPL, because it's had limited so far growth. But what we've got, you see, guys, compared to other networks, we've got all these amendments rolling out now, which will put the XRPL in a very, very strong position. All right, moving forth. We've had a series of tweets out, giving trolling. Chris Larson has just offloaded 50 million worth in the past hour, still buying the high piece, cashing out and dumping on your head. The same as another guy here. XRP team keeps dumping on your head. Why are everyone so bullish on XRP? What it was Chris Larson moving that 50 million into a strategic $1 billion fund to bootstrap the XRPL. So there's a lot of FUD around all these. All right, and just a quick shout out for Cred. He's posted here, reaffirming my assertion that cycle top is not in yet, and BTC will still see 150k before the cycle's over. And you can see these kind of very, very good, TA, credit is very, very well known for this kind of choppy, for analysing very choppy waters and getting it pretty spot on. So, the road ahead is good. I didn't go on to that this morning, looking at the charts and stuff, but we're just in a choppy territory with these markets, and then we have to sit it out. And there's a bit of fun for us at the end here. It says, James Rule put your XRP, and it shows a wife arguing at a husband at 17 cents, and then our XRP with $2.17. I think that is classic, and I put, I can attest to this. The doubters at 17 cents were real, eh? I'm not talking about Mrs. Ripples here. Anyway, so again, this is a guy now. We're just going to flip onto the XRP memes, and I'm just going to give you a heads up on things. I've always said that I'll cover some stuff on the channel that I'm doing. It doesn't mean you have to do it, but I'm going to bring opportunity in front of your eyes. And if you choose to look at things or kind of learn about them, that's you good. But I'm still going to place them here. Just bought my first bag of XRP memes, and this is guy Kempo is just a community member now, it seems. And he bought the kind of the solid 4, as we'd call it there. But there is a kind of solid 6. He's bought some Phoenix, Army, Fuzzy Bear, and Drop. Now these are kind of some of the strongest teams in the game at the minute. We've known because we've had a 12-month kind of down period, and we've seen whether the ones have stuck around and ones have not. And I'm kind of starting to see a lot of accounts starting to boot up and move, 5,000, 10,000 XRP into wallets to purchase. We saw this whale a couple of days ago. I'm just going to reroute these around. This was DK464 trades. DK64 trades, sorry. He posted, and this was the mysterious whale we were talking about the other day, remember, that posted a $2 million wallet, just booted it up with, basically $2 million of XRP, and proceeded to buy a shed ton of memes. You can track that wallet. I did drop the link on my timeline. It goes back about 3 or 4 days, but you can see it's obviously constantly changing, but this wallet bought a lot of memes. It put a 500,000 XRP into this Midas XRP, which is the Alexa yield earning token. And then, he spent the other, I think it would have been 300,000 XRP on these memes. So you do with that information what you will. You've got a whale putting $2 million onto the XRPL bridging. There is a lot of whales in the Solana and Ethereum ecosystem that have yet to come here yet. And I'll tell you why they will come here. The same account posted a brilliant thread, and I've talked about it before, but I cannot bang this drum loud enough. Because you're going to see inflows into these XRP memes, I believe, when the time comes right, like we can't even comprehend. And again, this is not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, this is for entertainment purposes only. And I put 1 to 2% of my portfolio into the stronger caps of these. But as he put, and this was posted back in February of this year. Now, I was in memes in October, and we rode them up to all-time highs in February, and he spotted this, and this was this was back in February, once in a lifetime opportunity, and this is a pinned tweet on his page. The third ranked crypto, which is XRP, with a total market cap all projects of 169 million. These are memes. 24-hour volume of 6.7 million. Now this was at kind of the high points. It subsequently dropped much less. Okay, and he's comparing it to the 5th rank meme total volume for BNB at 28 billion. And a 24-hour volume of 10.7 billion. The 6th ranked, Solana, the total market cap of all the meme projects was 15 billion, and the 24-hour volume of memes was 5 billion. Now, compare that to the 169 million, which is much less now, and the 24-hour volume on XRP, and you can see that you're a magnitude of almost 100x lower. Take that information and do with it what you will. I have been stacking aggressively in these memes, and that we're seeing a kind of a small breakout, I'd say. So far so good, with Fuzzy leading the charge at 20 million, Phoenix now at 10 million, Army back at 7 million. Now ignore these ones here. Sologenic is not a meme, and this XRP is not a meme. SLT, I wouldn't touch it. Magnetic, don't go near it. These are tokens that are for the XRP market. But you've got things like, let me just run you through the top ones. You've got Fuzzy, you've got Phoenix, you've got Army, you've got Drop, you've got Bear, you've got ATM, okay? And then you've got things like Sigma, Bert, Flippy, as you've seen in his wallet here, some of the big ones, Scrappy, Flippy. There are tons more that I'm looking at, and I've been Tabby, for instance, Breepy, Shweepy. These are the OG memes for the XRPL that'll do really well in the future. Anyway, I'm going to bring you that before we go so that you can see that things are heating up. And I've been saying that, the capital that I put in just less than a week ago is now 2x on that. And so DCAing. So you can also just bring this up to close this off. Now we're 20 minutes in. You can see that, this is playing out quite nicely. I think that this will become very apparent that we're in this in the next 2 months. The calendar part's the most important. You know, do you remember that old calendar that we brought up? I think if I bring it up for you here, is it this one? Let's go back and just bring you this calendar. I think I've got that here. I think it's the level playing field that it's on. Yeah, that's the one. So remember this calendar that we've got? This keeps coming to me in the middle of the night. These strong X's on here. Okay, so the bits that I'm looking at the minute is October and November, right? See the kind of the X's on the October. It's a no-go. Things are not moving. Chop, chop, chop. That's it. It's going to go left and right. That's it. And then you've got on the right hand side here, you've got November with these kind of, you know, X marks the spot, which is a piracy, where it's actually two swords crossing each other. So it's a fight kind of symbol, but then you've got December with clear skies ahead. Now, if we look at that and correlate it back to the fireplace, and we look down, you know, between October and November, you've got the Phoenix Rising, which is Bitcoin. And you've got the XRP stocking, which is the purple stocking. The green is Bitcoin, purple is XRP, and the yellows. It's pegged right between November and December. Okay, and you can see there that maybe a correlation forming between a Phoenix Rising, Bitcoin, November, kind of things being set maybe in the Senate, this fight going on to reopen the Senate and get the regulations passed, regulation molasses, and then you might be off to the races for the first leg up. We will see. Anyhow, I'll leave it with that view. I hope that's good. We've covered a bit of news today, a lot of things developing on the build out, this slow burning build out of the XRPL. You're sitting on some very, very powerful assets, you lot. So just have a bit of patience, mind the last mile, and thanks for watching. Please drop us a like on the video, give it a share, drop a comment, whatever you can do to help grow the channel back. We were banned for almost 18 months on this, had our channel deplatformed. We don't even know why still. But anyway, I'm trying to build it back up. So give us a like, give us some help the algorithm boost the channel. That all really, really helps. That's all I ask for. Thanks a lot, guys. Anyway, thanks for watching. Look forward to seeing the next video. Take care, be blessed. Bye for now.